All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown. All three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Crown of Shadows by C.S. Friedman. This is book number 3 in her Coldfire trilogy. Came out in 1995. Has a great cover by Michael Whelan. You know I love graphic design and cover illustrations. And anytime we get a Michael Whelan cover, it's just dynamite. And in fact, all three books have Michael Whelan covers. So they all just look super dope on the shelf. All these books, they all have the same design, and then when you put them on the shelf, all their spines match up just absolutely gorgeously. So we have to give Daw Books an A++ for creating a trilogy with great covers. Now, C.S. Friedman is a great writer, one of my favorite writers, one of the best craftsmen in the science fiction and fantasy genre. I compare her writing a lot to that of Frank Herbert. I stand by that. Just great prose. Anyway, if you want to watch my previous book reviews, because books 1 and 2 over here, I have left detailed reviews on the channel. If you'd rather watch those first before we get to number 3, just type in my last name, Durfee, into your YouTube search bar, and then also C.S. Friedman's name. And those book reviews will somehow, through some sort of pagan magic, they will, they'll just show up on your screen. Somehow it happens that way. I don't know. Anyway, so the background of this trilogy is there's a planet named Erna. Now, in the planet, it's inhabited by humans. They were Earth. They came from Earth and inhabited this planet. And this planet, the magic system of this planet is it's different. It's like your dreams become reality. And there's like this fey magic where whatever you dream, it might just become reality right in front of you. So if you're having a nightmare, you probably don't want that to happen right in front of you. Now, there is a prequel book to this series called Nightborn, which I read in review. This is the story of the people on the starship that discovered the planet where this trilogy here takes place. It's the Coldfire trilogy. So if you want to read the prequel, you can do that also. That's about the people on the starship that discover the planet, and now we've got this trilogy that's set on the planet with this fey magic. As we discover in book 1 and 2, as our characters are wandering about this planet called Erna, it's sort of a medieval society. It's a straight kind of like old age medieval society, swords and bows and arrows and that kind of thing, a little bit of sorcery here and there. But as they're wandering through this medieval landscape, they once in a while run across old technology from the starships and things like that. And they're not really surprised by it. They kind of know what it is, and they kind of know what's going on. It's just kind of randomly there. It reminds me a lot of the Terry Brooks Shannara series, where those characters once in a while, that's set, the Shannara series is set in a post-apocalyptical America where everything's sort of turned medieval, and once in a while the characters run into a weird building or see a weird bit of technology but they don't understand it. And then also in Gene Wolfe's Shadow of the Torturer series is the same concept. It's a medieval people wandering around in a landscape where just random modern technology shows up, and they're just kind of like, what's this? What is this sorcery? That's kind of like this one. That's the same kind of premise as the landscape. So anyway, we get to our story. Here's the main story. There's a main baddie named Celesta, who's a demon who is feeding off of the fey magic that this character Celeste is fed off the fey magic to such an extent that she's almost reached godlike status. And she has now waged war, declared war upon all mankind. And the only people that can stop this are Damien Vrice, who is a warrior priest, and the undead sorcerer named Gerald Tarrant. Only those guys can stop the whole thing. And the last paragraph on the back of the book really gives a succinct job of talking about this. So nothing short of the demon Calesta's absolute destruction will save mankind from this unholy influence. But no one on Erna is certain just what the Aizu really are, and no man has ever succeeded in killing one. Faced with an enemy who may prove invulnerable, Damien and Tarrant must risk everything in a war that will take them from the depths of hell to the birthplace of the demons and beyond, in a battle which could cost them not only their lives, but every soul of mankind. And, this is the adventure across this, they adventure across landscapes that are full of earthquakes, landscapes that are full of sea, of writhing bodies. I mean, that was a very descriptive passage where they were crossing across this place and there was just a sea of people just writhing on the ground. It was crazy. They run through volcanoes and over volcanoes and into volcanoes. They were into enchanted forests. There's many discussions between these two characters. Now, these two characters are kind of on a sailing ship and they sail to a far off land. But we've also got other characters that sort of remain in the main part of where the story started. So we got a lot of different viewpoints. I don't want to get into too much of what's going on without spoilering things. But there's a lot of discussions between all the characters about church and about God and about demons and about who rules the world, how power is obtained, how power is kept, how it's kind of interesting, and you can kind of compare a lot of what these characters are talking about to modern day politics and religion and things like that. But I mean, I guess that's every book. I mean, every fantasy book sort of draws off of our own universe here. But I give Crown of Shadows, gosh, it was just as good as the other two. It's got to be close to a 10 out of 10, just to how good it's written, how the characters are so cool, how the landscape is so cool, and just how the covers are so cool. So yeah, let's just go ahead and give this a 10 out of 10, which I would give the whole trilogy a 10 out of 10. I mean, if you're a fantasy fan, you should at least be made aware of this trilogy, if not be forced to read it.